What's going on, you guys? Gaming out here coming at you for another video. Today we're going to be talking about God of War Ragnarok. Yes, I made a post yesterday on Twitter that was just pretty much like, look, I got some concerns of God of War Ragnarok. And geez Louise, you guys went above and beyond to tell me how nonsense I was just because I'm criticizing a PlayStation exclusive. And you know what's crazy? The crazy part is I've actually on multiple occasions said that God of War 2018 was on my top 5, if not my top 3 of last generation. I guess I don't mean nothing. You know, I got to completely fall in line with the thought process that there could be no way that Addict or anyone could see any kind of problems with Ragnarok. And we're going to go into what I have concerns with Ragnarok, but the fact that you guys want me just to completely go in line is crazy to me. Now, let's talk about God of War Ragnarok. God of War clearly went through a kind of a change when it came to 2018. They went to the North mythology. Clearly, we came from Greek mythology. So that right there, you know, they didn't explain the gap between that. Now, they did say they would explain it in another game, which is this game. And keep in mind, for those of you who don't know, God of War Ragnarok is the last game in the Norse mythology. They're not having 3 this time. They're having 2. And that's the biggest fear I have when it comes to God of War. Are they going to be able to tell a story that makes sense off of what they showed in 2018 and all the variables that's on the field? Let's go over some of the variables, why don't you? Let's go over some of them. You got Thor in general, because they had that ending cutscene in God of War 2018 that he's clearly in this game, and we've seen in the trailer he's in this game. We got Odin. Odin's clearly in this game because he's the head honcho, the Zeus comparison to Norse mythology, so he's clearly going to be in this game too. Now let's talk about Freya. You got the Freya variable that you're going to have to deal with in this game as well, on top of Thor and Odin. Now, could they kill them off one by one at the last bit of the game? Sure. I think it's pretty safe to assume that Thor most likely will be slain, you know, middle to the beginning of the game. That's pretty much a proven entity at this point. But I think the biggest concern I have is just, how do you realistically show all of these threads and put them together in a way that makes sense? You could clearly do it, but is it going to be satisfying in the end? You know, I have little concerns with gameplay mechanics that they're doing. Now, it's not necessarily anything bad. I do feel like when you make a sequel, you expect to some form of an increase in the gameplay mechanics. And I think that St. Monica, they're going to do that well. I don't really have too much of an issue. Obviously, a little bit of concern, you know, but I don't have a huge issue with that. But it's just the story and the narrative wise. For those of you that have been following my account for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is one of the all-time favorite franchises that I hold dear to me. And I think the biggest thing that I look at when I see this is like, are they going to be able to do what they couldn't? And what I mean by that is Kingdom Hearts 3 had so many variables from all these games that they've made to when it come to making this particular Kingdom Hearts, it was hard to actually thread all those needles and get it into an ending that made sense to everyone. And I know there's some people that enjoy Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm not saying I didn't like Kingdom Hearts 3, but I did think that the ending was pushed a little bit. It was definitely, what's what I'm looking for? It was rushed. That's my fear of God of War. I feel like when I look at God of War and how hyped they made me, how excited I was to play God of War, how good they did certain fights in God of War 2018. There's issues I have with 18 in general, but I do feel like they did some good fights in there, and it could have been more obviously, but they did do good fights. And I think when I'm looking at the gameplay mechanics, the world they built, the only thing I'm worried about is just they introduced so much in 18 that they can't realistically do all of that in one game and make sense. You know, for instance, you still have, like I said earlier, the giant gap between God of War 3 and 2018. You have that whole thing. Cory Barlog said that they would say in the sequel. People assume they would be 3. I would assume that first one was about the person. I'm not going to really go into spoiler territory. The second would be about like Thor, or you know, someone related to that matter, or maybe a couple people at the end. And the third one would be building up that hype from killing those first couple people to fighting Odin. But now, you know that Odin and Thor theoretically should be taken out in this game because it's the last game in Norse mythology. So then you're like, how are they going to do the Freya thing on top of all that and then explain where Kratos came from and still have the game make sense from a beginning to middle to end perspective? Look, might be just me. Maybe I'm overthinking things, but I do feel like because of games like Kingdom Hearts 3, I do have some valid concern on, can they bring this home? And I think there's a good chance they could. I don't see a way, because like I said, like that's a lot of variables. That's 4 variables, guys. It's a lot, especially the fact that you have to fit Odin and Thor and all the rest of the Norse mythology that is left that is actually valuable to the franchise, considering, you know, spoiler alert, but considering the son Atreus, he's Loki. How they gonna explain that? Then how they gonna explain? It's just a lot of variables, and I'm concerned. But anyway, tell me in the comment section below, are you guys concerned about this? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just a me problem. I'm still gonna play it. People act like I wasn't gonna play it. What? I'm still gonna play it. I'm just concerned if the game is going to be the story that I envisioned it to be when I thought it was going to be a trilogy. But anyway, definitely put in the comment section below if you guys are going to enjoy this game. I'm very curious. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.